Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Silver. This is Zach the Lich King signing in for episode 3. If you heard that, that's my roommate in the background. Okay, it's nighttime now. Been a few hours since I last played. And okay, we finally made it to Mr. Pokemon's house. And over here is another berry. Specifically, Pism Cure Berry. Like I mentioned in my last episode, the berries in Pokemon Gold and Silver are much more simply named because they were the basis of the concept. Poison Cure Berry cures poison. This fellow in the hat is Mr. Pokemon. He's going to give me a Pokemon egg. Eggs were, of course, added to the games in Generation 2. A lot of the core concepts of all modern Pokemon games were added in Generation 2. Eggs, berries, how much Pokemon like you, gender was added. And here's Professor Oak. You all remember him from the original Pokemon games and from the TV show if you watched it. If you didn't watch it, I highly recommend you watch it. Oak is a very entertaining character. And just like in the original games, Professor Oak is the one that gives us a Pokédex. In future generations of the game, whatever professor is in your region, in Hoenn is Professor Birch, for example, they give you the Pokédex, but in Generation 2, it's still Oak's domain. So now we can read up on data of our Pokemon, which I am not going to do, because the little clips of Pokemon info that they give are just kind of... they're a little fascinating, I suppose, but overall, nothing you really need to worry about. Just got healed up, and now we got ourselves a phone call. Ugh, I wish I could change the ringtone in this game. You'd think with all the high-tech Pokemon has, you could change the ringtone. I can change the ringtone on my watch if I want to. And a nighttime Pokemon. Who's gonna be? Hoot Hoot! Hoot Hoot is a nighttime only Pokemon. My roommate wants me to catch it, but he does not know I do not have Pokeballs yet. I won't get Pokeballs until after I talk to Elm and see what he was panicking about. So until then, just gotta keep using Scratch, watch Croc kick more ass. Of course, if he keeps growling and lowering my attack, this is going to extend the duration of this battle. This is what items like X attack are great for. Negating the effects of growl and keeping your attack power up and even increasing it from time to time. Of course, I've never really used those items in battle. I used them a few times for, like, in the original games when I had no idea what half the items were. But they always just felt like a waste of a turn to me. Of course, most of the time in Pokemon games you play the type advantage, and then items like X attack and X defense become very irrelevant. Because once you do a super effective attack, you're doing double damage right there. And if you're powerful enough to get away with sneaking in a few X attacks or X defense, then you clearly don't need to worry about speed. And here we go. Time to fight the redhead guy. I actually like how they portray the rivals in the earlier games. In Red and Blue, the rival was just kind of a jerk to you. He was a very stereotypical rival. He wanted to be better than you. He was very smug about it. In Generation 2, right here, we have this redhead guy who is actually borderline evil. Treats his Pokemon like crap. Treats you like crap. Treats everyone like crap, really. Breaking and entering, for example. Stole that Chikorita. Fortunately, I'm 3 levels higher than the Chikorita now due to the multiple random encounters I've had. Which will make this fight significantly easier than it could have been. I won't lie, I've lost a couple of times in these first come fights. Largely because in the earlier times I played the game, I would just run from a battle, you know, not wanting to waste time or anything. But during this Nuzlocke, I cannot run away, so I gain experience for my not running awayness. And Croc, doesn't level up again. Now, in a little bit, I'm going to have to give this question mark guy a nickname. I usually go one of two ways with nicknames. I usually give him the nickname of someone I know and don't like, or I give him a really, like, obscure, or, sorry, not obscure, a really vulgar nickname, like Dickhead. I've actually been putting a bit of thought into what kind of nickname I want to give him this time. Right now I'm avoiding grass because I actually do want to get through this a bit. It took me 3 episodes to get to Mr. Pokémon. That's just kind of sad. Okay, Professor Elm and a police officer. Not Officer Jenny, unfortunately. Okay, so the nickname... Sorry, not the nickname, his actual name. I wanted to call him something insulting, but at the same time, a little classy. I'm calling him Le Douche. It is so hard to navigate these things with an actual keyboard. Specifically with the arrow keys. Le Douche. There we go. A little French, a little classy. Demeaning because it's... Well, it's doubly demeaning. It's French and it's Le Douche. And now I'm pretty sure I gotta talk to him before I'm allowed to... Oh, I could leave. But, gonna talk to him anyway. You need to talk to him to progress, otherwise you won't be able to get too much further in the game anyway. Theoretically, I guess you could go all the way back to the berry guy's house and try to take the route on the left side of the trees. But I'm sure that the 2 trainers that are doing battle there and blocking the road would still be there until you talk to him. So now we're giving Elm the egg. And he's saying I could become the champion. Because that's all you can ever do in these games is be the champion. I think that if they scale back the graphics a bit and put a little more effort into the gameplay, you could actually have a Pokemon game that's really deep and worth playing. Like, I would love a game where I could optionally go the route and become a Pokemon breeder or Pokemon tamer. That would be cool. Mix up the missions a little bit. Instead of getting badges, you can get those contest ribbons. Open up your own daycare, maybe. That might get a little boring, but, you know, I'm sure that someone more creative than me can make a better habit of it. And you should always, well, you don't have to, but you could definitely come here and talk to Mom. Tell her you're going away. Because, you know, she's your mom. She doesn't want you to go away without telling her. That's just rude. But this is a little bit optional because... I am going to have her save my money just because it'll limit the amount of money I actually have on me, so that'll make things a little more challenging. But it's a little realistic. I mean, in the game you're only like, what, 10, 12 years old? I think Ash was 11 when the very first season of Pokemon started, so let's figure that I'm an 11-year-old kid right now, walking around in the dark, and this guy just runs out of the grass to talk to me. Not sketchy at all. No, do not show me. I like how it's still optional in this. I believe that by the time of Generation 3 and Hoenn, it's just mandatory you have to watch an automatic Pokemon catching animation. Wally the sick kid just goes out and you have to watch him do it. It's more teaching Wally, technically, but, you know, you're obviously along for the ride. Okay, Hoot Hoot. I have Pokeballs now. I'm going to catch a Hoot Hoot, because Noctowl is awesome. Wow, that was close. And Pokeball Pack. Pokemon Gold and Silver version is also the first generation to introduce the multiple pack pouches. before Pokemon Gold and Silver. You just had one pack, and it had every item in it, all over the place. But towards the end of the game, it got really hard to find anything. And this should catch the Hoot Hoot no problem. Excellent, Hoot Hoot was caught. Now to nickname her. I'm going to stay the uncreative route and give her an owl-based name. I could go Owly, but I think I'm going to go... Do I have enough letters for Owlette? O W L E T T E. Owlette. Excellent. Welcome to the party, Owlette. And that's the 10-minute mark, so made a little bit of progress. Got to Mr. Pokemon, got a first new Pokemon in our party. This is Zach the Lich King, signing out. Have a good night, everyone.